First, I want to go on today to explain to you guys about how the self-powered car works. A lot of you guys are very curious about how does the self-powered car get powered. Hello, good evening guys. This is Dr. Cool. Welcome back to another interesting edition. I'm going to be just showing you guys what went down in the show of launching the self-powered car.
We've done it, and I thank everyone who played a role, who supported me. The guys from C Media, Engineer Quinton Kankamu, he's like a father, a brother, a mentor, he's everything to me. He is the only person who believed in me. They were sent, I think there were 5 scientists who were sent by the previous government in 2015 because I refused to give the other guys what they wanted. They wrote a report which was demon on my side. He is the only person who should be with by me. He wrote his own report, and I'm saying this in public. He is a man with a good heart. He stood with me for me to be where I am today. So I thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to take you through so that you can understand who is Maxwell. Maybe I'm the farmer that people talked about. Maybe I'm the armed robber, which they talked about. I don't know. I'm determined. And starting from tomorrow, the cars will be on markets. The TVs will be on markets. The motorbikes will be on markets. We have completed the R&D. We have got all certifications that we wanted. Right now we're in compliance, CE standards, FCC standards, ISO certifications. We have everything that is needed. We thank God for that. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Let's give it a moment.
The picture when I was holding it like this. Yeah. You know, I think one thing that we need to educate our fellow Zimbabweans is that in many cases, in many cases, when we are developing products, we don't start from scratch. We either buy some of the components over the counter, or can someone come and hold this for me? Yeah, so that people. You start as a prototype. What that means is you don't start by developing the end product. You start by looking wherever you can get what you think it can work. Then you test. Right now, when we did these machines, we liked the design. I saw a lot of people were saying Brodo or whatever, solar panel. We just liked the case. It was something that we had in mind, especially for the rural community. Something that is dust-proof, waterproof, IP67, and also portable, that even a farmer can just carry around. So I want you to tell me, I don't know where I think we wanted something to test. I don't know. Can we have something to connect? Okay, we'll power the fridge with this one. As you can see, show everyone, the machine, it tells you how much power is getting in. It has got in and out. It's telling you how much radio frequency it's converting right now into pure energy. So I don't know, maybe we put a solar somewhere. Yeah. So people were misinformed. We just liked the design, and we bought the design. This company is not Broadwell. It's a company which is found in Shenzhen. Broadwell, they're just buying and using their name. So we talked to this company, and they agree to license us their cover. Then we bought it for those reasons. So this is a greener power off-grid machine. We've got 600 watts and 1000 watts. We decided to go smaller when I was talking to the president. Like I said, right now our focus is on Africa. We want everyone in Africa to have the freedom. So we're looking at a small machine that is the cost competitiveness. For example, if you can sell this machine at $500, a tobacco farmer can afford to purchase it and use it at his house. You can power your fridge, you can power your iron, you can do all those kind of things. So it's giving you the liberty, the freedom to do whatever that you wanted to do. We have got bigger machines that goes to about 100 kilowatts, 200 kilowatts. But those machines are quite expensive and mostly they are for businesses. So we decided to say, no, these ones, they can be bought with people, not over the counter. People, they can press in orders. So this is our greener power off-grid machine. But I wanted, I don't know if you can find some free energy device. Because what you need is the input power. That's what we're giving you. We're giving you the input power. What we have done, we have managed to erase the batteries. We have managed, and we hope, with brothers from Congo, we hope that the war maybe will end with this kind of initiative, because no one will be in demand on lithium ion. Yeah. So we just hope that it might help that conflict to end. Amen. We thank God with this technology. So we've got this, these are the smallest machines that we're doing, but right now we're working on.
Is there no battery in there?
There's a small battery, but that is very small, like I'm saying. Because remember, when you talk about batteries, you're talking about energy density. The reason electric cars are very expensive is the battery. 70% of the cost of the electric car is a battery, which weighs about half of its weight. So we managed to erase that. We don't need much energy. We need only less energy. That means our cars can even carry a heavy load now, because the battery is eliminated, but we've got a startup battery. Technology, they pass through that, the only less energy will go to recharge the battery, but the greater power of the energy.
You know, I've been getting a lot of messages recently, and a lot of them are concerning. You've seen a lot of intensity of hatred coming from the Western folks, like, oh, you're doing this now like every day. Don't you have other things to do? And the other one go like, why are you doing this like as if your life depends on it? And I'm like, wow. So someone could have this immense sort of hatred, pure hatred, undiluted hatred, just because he doesn't like someone's car. Racial profiling. Someone says racism is not something new, that's just getting the light shine on. And that's Will Smith. I think he's right about that. So the first thing I want to go on today to explain to you guys about how the self-powered car works. A lot of you guys are very curious about how does the self-powered car get powered infinitely to work without needing to be plugged or gasoline. And I have shown a lot of videos, fake debunks, which some people made from, seemed like someone, maybe a sniper or something, someone that was sent by the big oil corporation to go and witness the launching. And he went there and he was insisting of buying the prototype that was actually meant to attract investors. And I was like, what's really going on inside his head? So now let me explain this to you guys, because I know that a lot of people the people who should be explaining it are busy being filled with hate. There's a lot of mechanics and people who are in automotive systems, just like I am. And since I am not taking anything personal, but it's an invention from a person of color like me, so I will take all the time I need in the whole world to explain it to anybody who really cares or want to know how this very car works. That doesn't need to be charged and doesn't need to be plugged in or pit stop, in as much as fueling is concerned, and all you have to do is just start the car and drive. The first thing first, in order for us to understand how this very car works, I want to go back in time in 2015 when Foster Gambles, the head of a research institute he owns himself, an engineer and US established scientist nice Rodney Root, went there to test and confirm or certify if this is a elaborate hoax or as disruptive and unbelievable as it sounds. Yes, it sounds very unbelievable because we are ethical beings, and at the same time we are unethical beings. And now we have unethical car, and as unethical human beings, that some forgot their own unethical part, they find it so hard to digest that a car that don't need to be plugged could actually work, just like human beings that don't need to be plugged can be alive and run, and all you need is just to eat food, which its life doesn't depend on it. The same thing like trees. So in as much as the divine that designs human being like us, some might even decide to call us the other third person. He can also inspire someone to create something that can run just like human being. So get this over with. Now, why I decided I want to go back in those times is because there is something of a note there. Foster Gamble, who is a head researcher of his own institute. I don't know if it is somewhere in San Francisco or but I know he's a US guy, a US citizen, and engineer. He is Rodney Rood, a scientist also, who is a specialist in electromagnetism, anything concerning electromagnetism. So he got the right guy to come and check out to do the verdict. There is something Maxwell said when he was about to introduce these two guys to the system. He said, this is
generator and even a helicopter that ran on radio frequencies, a true free energy device that keeps batteries consistently charged. It took me several months to find him, but when I did, it blew my mind.
I knew it would be complicated because these things always are. Going to Zimbabwe, the Ethiopian airline that we had tickets with had just had a major crash, and a cyclone had just ravaged the area, leaving hundreds dead.
Well, we're sitting in a hotel in Harare, Zimbabwe this morning. We're here today to start the vetting process and find out, okay, what's real? Over 95% of the time, these things aren't what they claim to be. This time we took engineer Nils Rognerud to assist with the vetting. When Nils and I arrived and met Maxwell, I was very impressed with just what a gentle, true-seeming soul he was. And then the next morning, we went to see the device, and he gave us a full tour. I was practically ecstatic. It was such a beautiful, elegant device.
What we're looking at is called the green power off-grid machine. It is 0.5 megawatts, and we are relying with the radio frequency. We harness the radio frequency, convert it into pure energy that is useful. It is called a microsonic energy device. A microsonic energy device, it is the generator in this machine.
For people who are not familiar with this, 0.5 megawatt, how much will that power in terms of a house or a community or what?
We're talking of about 300 standard house homes, yeah.
Okay.
That you can power with one machine.
So there's no oil burning, there's no fires going on or anything, so where's the energy coming from?
We're harnessing it straight away from the natural energy that God has just put in the on our earth. Yeah, the radio frequency.
So nothing unusual, but the main point is that a meter away there's no frequencies being transmitted from a microwave tower next to the park we're standing in.
It's a poignant day for us here, and amidst the excitement of seeing this for the first time, a couple of strangers showed up on the site where we were being shown these devices, and Maxwell, the inventor, took us aside as soon as he could and said, these guys are from the government, and I didn't know they were coming. Unfortunately, we're truly concerned about this gentleman, and we're just going to take every precaution that we can to keep ourselves safe, to keep him safe, and to keep this knowledge safe.
The microphone we had on Maxwell picked up the conversation that he had with one of the officials. So we quickly got the tape translated and found out that the government official was promising Maxwell a power purchase agreement where the government would pay him for generating energy for the country. It was good corroboration that they believed he had what he claimed. Although Maxwell didn't trust him because the government had already put him in prison in an effort to steal his technology.
Has become a buzz phrase of late. The energy form has been touted as the alternative to hydroelectricity in the wake of climate change effects on power generation. Zimbabwe, which has been battling power shortages, is keen on massively investing in solar. But what if there is another alternative that may revolutionize the country's energy system? The United States-based Zimbabwean Sangulani Chikanza has set up a 50-kilowatt green generator in Harare, where it is powering 10 houses.
Thrive 2 brings viewers behind the scenes with the people and innovations that have the power to transform life for everyone. And what's interesting about this documentary is they feature United States-based Zimbabwean inventor Sangolani Maxwell Chikanza.
We are launching a documentary on a Saturday in the United States of America in California, which is called Thrive, What It Takes.
The documentary follows a journey across the globe investigating the most promising solutions in energy, health, and consciousness, while unpicking the underlying science, principles, and strategies that make them possible. One of Chikanza's inventions is advancing the proven ability to generate electricity from radio frequency. With this, he designed and produced the world's first ever green power generator.
I have to keep on fighting and make sure that one day everyone will have free energy.
I think I'm going to replay the video so that you hear it. This is the green power off-grid machine. Maybe you guys wouldn't be able to hear him clearly because of his intonation, but some also might complain they couldn't hear me also due to my intonation. We all get it, we know where it's coming from. So green power off-grid machine, that's the very first prototype which he built that have 0.5 megawatt with capability of powering up to 300 homes. I think he did have up to 200 and something pieces of battery there. I don't know if it is 100 amps or less. However, the system that keeps those batteries consistently charged is the game changer, is the microsonic energy device. Now, if that generator, that off-grid green machine can put up 0.5 megawatt that can power 300 homes without ever needing to shut down, how much power does a car need to run? So if you come here to watch this very video with your brain and you forget about pulling a race card, and you forget about trying to make your decisions based on the colors, and you forgot to judge the content of our heart based on the color of our skin, then you already know that if he can be able to build a generator that can produce 0.5 megawatt electricity to power up to 300 homes, there is no car in the world that can use up to that power that powers up to 300 homes. It is impossible, even if it is the fastest car. So that is the number one. Now let's go to the number two, explaining how the car works, how this generator works. If the first one, which I just explained right now, you didn't get it, that very analogy, you didn't get it well. There is something also he said. I'm also going to be going back to that same video again. He said the microsonic energy device is the generator inside the green power. That is how we put it. And be my guest, it is as simple as that. If I'm going to explain it further in a layman's understanding, in a nutshell, then I will say this. You have your car. If for a lot of you guys who have cars or who have motorbikes, your car uses definitely a lead acid battery or flooded regular battery or AGM gel battery. Now, does that battery in your car, is it actually the one that is propelling your car to drive? The answer is no. So what does that battery do? What the battery does is to help the Kickstarter to spin the engine, to crank the engine over so that it can start the combustion process. As soon as the engine has become self-sustenance, then this battery is only being charged by the alternator, that the engine power is turning the alternator to keep this battery charged so that it doesn't get discharged, and therefore the car can drive. But that doesn't mean that it's this battery that is powering your car. It's only helping to start the combustion process. Then it stays there and get charged by the alternator, which the engine that uses your gasoline or your diesel, whichever one, they have a battery that is starting up the engine, which each time you crank your engine using the key, it sends power from this battery to your Kickstarter or your starter motor, and the starter motor cranks up the engine. So when there is a mixture of 1 part of fuel to 14.7 part of air mixed inside the combustion chamber and compressed in high volume, it turns that very fuel into gaseous form, which will be ignited by the spark plug after being compressed. And that explosion is what pushes your piston up and down, creating the motion, which is now transferred into your transmission system for gear reduction, and from your transmission system transferred to the power, which now propel your car to drive forward. But in a nutshell, this battery is not where your power, your gas-powered car is taking its juice from in order to run. It only starts up the engine. However, we can say the same in the EV cars, because the EV cars have a conglomerate of lithium battery packs. In fact, the whole drivetrain chassis where the four tires are bolted on, or a huge staggering lithium batteries, pack of lithium batteries. So those lithium batteries is what the energy that is stored is using to power up your electric vehicles. However, there is a catch. There has to go through a lot of conversion process from DC to AC, because I believe that the AC power produces much more faster torque and higher torque and faster speed at a lesser energy compared to that of a direct current, and that is why they decide they want to use inverter in all your electric cars. They have inverter system. A self-powered car, does it have a battery? Yes, it has a battery. If you look at inside where he opened the hood, there is a small battery there. The small battery there is actually to power up the microsonic energy device, which is right in there, which is the generator in your car. Now, that very microsonic energy device, it also charges the battery to keep it charged, just like your alternator charges the battery of your car to keep it charged while you're driving. If the battery of your car, which he uses to crank up the car, if the alternator fails to charge that battery, what is going to happen? The ECM and the whole lot of utilities which you have in your car is going to drain the power of the battery, and your car is going to shut down. So the same way is how the self-powered car works. It uses the little battery which is right there to power up the microsonic energy device. However, in this case, just the same process. However, this time there's not going to be combustion. It's only going to power up the microsonic energy device to harvest the radio frequency, as Maxwell Chikanza we call it, that is around the environment. And when it harvests that very energy, it now amplifies it into a huge volume, but a small portion of it goes back into keeping the battery charged, because if the battery lost juice that is not going to power up the microsonic energy device, then your car is going to shut down. And there are some other things which I want to clarify here. The radio frequency which you talk about is not transmitted from your microwave tower. When we talk about microwave tower, the cell tower which is connecting your cell phones, and it's not transmitted by your radio stations or the mast of your radio stations. So this is a natural radio frequency, natural wave. He also even said it himself somewhere here. And he said, and I quote, he has been working on it, but he doesn't know exactly the source. He only branded it radio frequency. And because he didn't know if it is alien that is transmitting it or God that is transmitting that very radio frequency, that is the part where he needed the scientist, because he is not a scientist. He's just an inventor. However, the other side where it gets interesting is that the Western world don't want to believe that God could give something divine that huge. They can deny it. They can lie about it. They can call it higher self. They can call it the creator. They can call it the other realm, the fourth dimension, or astral planes. But he is God, the creator of the universe. If we can be able to compare this, Nikola Tesla was able to discover that the pyramid wasn't just a monument for arts or whatsoever. That is actually a generator that is meant to generate power if people can fully understand how it is. Enough power that is going to service the earth without needing cable, without needing whatsoever. And when J.P. Morgan and Thomas Edison discovered that, look, there is no way we can monetize that if we give people the free energy, then they started pulling the plug. So in this case here, Maxwell Chikanza is not in the US, but he had been in the US where he was poisoned in an attempt to get a patent for his invention, and they rejected it and said it's a perpetual motion. Not only that, it defies the law of physics. And the great question which I have to ask is the law of physics more important than solving human problem? I think the Western people or scientists are missing the point. Physics is there to serve humanity. Humanity is not there to serve physics. But they're turning it the other way around, which I fully get. You know, when you want to kill a dog, you gotta brand it a bad name. You can say he's a thief, a scam, a robber, a rogue, a terrorist. They have done it before. As a matter of fact, in 2011, they called Muammar Gaddafi, before they murdered him, they called him the mad dog of the Middle East. And guess what next? So when I start branding someone a bad name that he doesn't have, even when you can see that he's not correlated, for those people who are saying he's a criminal, he's an armed robber, how does him being an armed robber prove the fact that his invention is not working. That is insanity. So guys, this is how the microsonic energy device works and how it powers your car. Now, if there is any last note I'm going to add about it, when the battery power up the microsonic energy device in your car, it now get energized and harness the radio frequency from the environment and amplify that enough to power up your car to drive indefinitely, and also enough to have up to 15 kV whopping power to power up your home. So if you are going for outdoor camping, no need for the solar generators, nothing. And for a lot of you guys who are still cooking yourself that is a scam, let me tell you this bluntly. 90 to 95% of people who are in your country, including you, will never have the chance to have one-on-one handshake with your president. If you're in the United States of America, I guarantee you this. You ask your fathers. A lot of them lived till the very day they died. They never had that opportunity, that golden opportunity to shake hands with the president of America. So when you see anyone raising to the point of going to shake hands with the president of your country, it is a serious situation. It is not a criminal case. Now, in the other aspect again, which I'm going to use as a final word, which I'm going to say here is, there are a lot of protocols before you see a president of any country. And if you watch Maxwell Chikanza, which I'm going to play some of the video when he was explaining and demonstrating how the car works with the president of Zimbabwe, if you can read mind correctly, he is not sounding like someone who is scared. He's not sounding like someone who is about to dupe someone. He's not sounding like someone who's about to scam someone. I'm just explaining this to some of our African guys who I don't want them to get brainwashed to start becoming a bandwagon syndrome, following what the Western world are saying, because I'm seeing them already pushing in towards that very side. And that's a terrible thing. We are smarter. They know this, and that's why they don't want to present a level playing field so that we can know who does things better. Else, they can look at the internet for yourself and see the talents people of colors are putting out there that is unequal to anything ever seen. And if I want to bust their nuts, ask yourself why the people of color is not in MotoGP. It's obvious. They don't want us to be winning everything. That's it. Okay, guys. So, this is what I'm going to be editing this very topic, this very broadcast. I'll see you in the next chapter. Don't forget my word. Stay optimistic, positive, stay healthy, and more importantly, stay alive. There is something better coming. This disruptive invention, you must be alive to test it and prove it to people. That science is not the God of this world, that there is a God of this world. And he chooses whom he can send his message through. Thank you for your time. Be sure to share, subscribe, and stay updated. And keep up a positive engagement in the comment section. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.